Let's talk about what makes collaboration work. We all know that it takes building relationships and it takes commitment, but what are the details? What are the qualities that really make that deeper level of collaboration work? What makes partnerships work? So, the first thing that really stood out to us is having a shared intention of collaborating, of coming into a relationship with the intention of understanding how our puzzle pieces all fit together, how our unique skills and abilities and gifts and missions and values all fit together so that we can create something shared, so that we can continue on a path together and continue to work on it. So, having that shared intention is incredibly important. Next, it's clarity on your own puzzle piece, on what you're really great at, what you really suck at, where your skills and your gifts are. Um, the niche that you want to serve, or how open you are to serving other niches and focusing on other specific areas. But it's really having clarity about yourself, where you are in your own business, what you desire to move into, and how you want to connect in with others. And to be able to connect in with others, we have to really identify what our puzzle piece really looks like. So, having that investment into our own clarity helps us to more clearly connect in with other people's puzzle pieces with that bigger puzzle. Next is having personal alignment. And so it's not just enough to have great clarity, it's also doing the work to make sure that we're really ready for collaboration. Are we aligned to our values? Are we aware of the mission that we want to serve? And are we taking the steps to personally get into alignment on that? Are we dealing with a lot of resistance and limiting beliefs that make it really hard for us to enter into relationships with trust? So there's this personal alignment piece that we really need to focus on and be ready for to be good collaborators. Next is an expansive mindset, right? My husband likes to call these labs business improv, which I love because it totally is, right? But in entrepreneurship, we really need to have an open mind on how we're going to come together and create something new. So, having an expansive mindset really allows for us to be open to possibilities as opposed to limited by what we already know and what we expect to happen. So, coming into that with an open mind and really investing in an expansive mindset is really critical for the partners that you engage with and for yourself. And then next, it's being committed to experimenting. It's not a linear process to collaborate. It's a series of figuring it out, right? It's a series of, taking one step forward, one back, three steps forward, two back. It's really a commitment to figuring it out together, understanding where the hiccups are, working through the challenges. It's not linear and it's challenging. We're building new relationships. It's really like, marriage and relationships or partnerships with significant others. There's some experimentation and some figuring out how the puzzle pieces can fit together to really create something that's optimal and energizing and expansive for all of you. So, what gets in the way the most when we think of successful partnerships and finding the people that we really want to partner with? These are some of the ways that get in the way, and we're sure there are many more. Right? Just like with, what makes good collaborators, we have an idea of what makes good collaborators, but these labs and experimenting with partnerships is a way for us to understand more of the ways that we can make really good collaborations and partnerships together. And so these are some of the ways that get in the way of great collaborations. And we're identifying more all the time and more ways to help us work through that. But one of the biggest things that get in the way of collaboration is fear and bad past experiences. And it's connected with number two, ego and scarcity conditioning. So, we've had a various degree of experience with collaborations and experience with collaborations. So, whether you've had great experience or you've had not so great experiences with even transactional collaborations, right? They really build on our expectations of what may happen or what's possible in the future. So, working through those experiences, right, and that fear and that scarcity conditioning, that worry that there's just not enough. There's not enough time for me. There's not enough money to go around. I'm going to be doing all the work. We're going to be focusing on this again in another slide. But just to give you an idea of that mental stuff and those experiences can have a big effect on how ready we are and how open we are to collaboration and experimenting, even if we really want it. So the third thing on the list is not having clarity. So if we're not clear on our puzzle piece, right? If we're not clear on what we're brilliant at and what we bring to the table and what we want, then it's really hard for us to be great at collaborating, for us to find the right people to collaborate. It really can inhibit those great collaborations. Um, and the fourth one is finding the right people to collaborate with. This is a big challenge, and this has nothing to do with you. Most of us are not master networkers, right? We really aren't. We all know a few people who are. But most of us are not master networkers. We are not connected with everybody and aware of what everyone is doing and their desire to collaborate and, and those really core gifts in the shape of their puzzle piece. We're just not. So having trouble identifying people that we want to partner with is a big thing that gets in the way. That's something that we really want to focus on as a collaborative team here. But that's really challenging to find the right people to collaborate with. And then finally, poor communication and misaligned expectations is a big one. Um, I think in general, humans have not really invested in being intentional about collaboration, especially in business. And at this level, right? Us as solopreneurs, as founders, as coaches and consultants and artists, and we've been used to going it alone. Even if we have this network around us supporting us, it's been a solo game. And communication, despite our ever growing, I think, capacity for it, we're still not great at it. We're still not letting people know what we expect and what we desire and how to talk about it in a way that isn't laden with scarcity, right? That actually moves us forward the way we want to. And so poor communication and misaligned expectations can really get in the way. Okay, so how can we prepare ourselves for collaboration? Um, One is to be able to set our intention. What do you really want to get out of collaborative partnerships, right? Why do you desire to collaborate? Do you want to stop doing it alone? Are you really ready to be doing this with other people so you're not on this road alone? Do you want to create more stability and success in your business? Do you want to simply focus on your strengths along other side of people focusing on theirs? Really double down on what you're amazing at and let other people who are amazing at the other stuff do their thing. And together you can create the whole. Are you really interested in amplifying your mission? I know for me personally, I have a big vision and a big mission, and doing it alone just doesn't seem to be doing the trick. It needs to be with the capacity of other people to move that big vision and that big mission forward. Or is it something else? So just take a minute to really get clarity on your intention for collaboration. Excuse me. Um, Number two is to be aligned to your values and why you're driven to do the work that you do. Get really connected with your natural strengths and your gifts. So, having that clarity, being connected to why. Why are you driven to do the work that you do? What are the values that are so important to you? In looking outside of yourself to connect with others, to create together. It's incredibly important to know what personal alignment looks like for you so that you can continue that and connect with the right people to work with. Number three, have clarity. Again, this is that what does your puzzle piece look like? How clear is your puzzle piece? Do you have clarity on your niche and how open you are to exploring different journey points on that niche or even entirely new niches? Do you have clarity on your mission and your vision? Do you have clarity on your core offering, that thing that you're really amazing at delivering? Do you have clarity on your natural roles in an organization? Are you naturally a leader? Are you an amazing coach but have no desire to lead, right? Are you someone who contributes this really core skill and are great at advising, right? What are your natural roles? And what are your strengths and weaknesses? Because connecting in is all about ensuring that you're connecting with people who complement what you do. Okay, next is strengthen your growth muscles. We talked about communication skills. We all have a lot of room for growth in our communication skills. We can stay curious, really embrace trial and error, really embrace not knowing what's possible. Bringing in more grace and humor into how you're being. Collaboration is a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of experimentation. And so if you can come into it with this understanding of, we're not going to get this right. There's a lot of dating. There's a lot of exploring. And if the group of entrepreneurs that you come into experimenting with all connect with that grace and that humor and personal accountability, you're going to be able to do the work of understanding how you fit together and what works and what doesn't, and move through that to connect with the people who will be amazing partners for you as you move through your own journey. And finally, it's really addressing that resistance and fear. These are just some of the beliefs and the fears and resistance statements that come up as you kind of dig into collaboration and partnerships. Do any of these resonate with you? What if it doesn't work out and it ruins our relationship? What if they take my clients? What if this is just another big distraction for me, a rabbit hole, and it leaves my core work behind? What do they really want out of this? Am I questioning their intention? What if I can't pull my weight and they regret bringing me in? Is this really a fair split? What if I end up doing all the work? Or I've been burned before. What if it happens again? What if I've spent so much time building this, I don't want to share that with somebody else? There just isn't enough time to split up. How could this possibly work? Or I'm sorry, there's just not enough income to split up. How could this possibly work? I'm not sure I want someone else steering this. It means too much to me. Or I left a job so I could be in control of my own ideas and time. I don't think I want someone else telling me what to do. So, working through these fears and this resistance is going to be a huge benefit to you moving forward. Even just having the awareness when it shows up and asking yourself, is this true? And am I limiting my idea of what's possible by holding on to this? So, these are the 5 ways that we can really prepare ourselves for collaborative entrepreneurship and getting ready for the lab. Really, just these simple mindset shifts can be incredibly beneficial. In addition to doing the work of, am I clear? and what can I do to be more aligned and ready for this? Can I show up with grace and humor and just have fun?